Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Carla Hall in the Food Network Kitchen. What's up everybody? All right, I'm here and I'm gonna do Hasselback vegetables. You probably know Hasselback sweet potatoes. You can do a Hasselback, whatever kind of potato, but we're gonna do them with delicata squash and apples, perfect for your Thanksgiving table. And I'm just gonna jump right in. So I have a delicata squash. This is my go-to squash right now for the season. I pickle them, I roast them, I put them in salads, I make rings, I put goat cheese in them, and we're gonna Hasselback them. So what does that mean? It's so simple. I'm gonna cut it in half, and this gets a little tough. Don't cut yourselves. So 2 pieces just like this, boom. And then I'm just gonna scoop out all of the seeds and all the membranes. Now, if I was just roasting this, I would leave these seeds and everything in because it's flavor, but we don't need them for this. You see how easy all that comes right out. Easy peasy. All right, and now I'm gonna do the other side, and if you want to take the seeds and soak off all the fibers and then roast the seeds, you can absolutely do that too with all these different spices. Or you could just get some pumpkin seeds and make it easy on yourself and just fry those babies up and put some seasoning on it, which is awesome. But I think the thing is to use the vegetable as a clue to what to garnish with it, to what to do other things with it. All right, so we got all that done. So now what we're going to do is for this squash, I am now going to cut it, but I don't want to cut all the way down to the cutting board because I want it to stay together. Hence my chopsticks, which by the way, match my pants because you have to be fashionable in the kitchen. And then I know you guys are going to comment on my beautiful pants. And so now comment on my beautiful chopsticks. I have no sense. It's early in the morning. And if you all are watching, then you're having a good time. So I am going to now make these cuts. Right? I'm cutting right down to the chopstick. See how that works? And I'm doing a 1/4 inch cut. Just like that. See how easy that is? And you don't have to worry about cutting right down to the cutting board because the chopsticks keep you from doing that. Okay?
Could you Hasselback any other vegetable?
Now you can Hasselback carrots. I've done it with even beets, which are hard, but they would be delicious. Any kind of vegetable. I mentioned sweet potatoes, regular potatoes like a white potato, everything. Any kind of vegetable you can do it. So let me move this. Okay, one more cut. There we go. Look at that. I think I can do one more cut, right?
Yeah.
That's all done. And now I've moved this to my sheet pan, just like that, and I have those already done. So now I'm going to do some apples. Was there a question?
Yes, Nina was wondering what you're making. She's just joining in.
Hey Nina, how are you? I'm making Hasselback, delicata squash, and apples. And it is simply a dish where you're making all these these simple cuts. You have all of these, I have all these other ingredients. I have sumac, I have cumin, I have smoked paprika, cayenne, I have some vanilla salts. Hello. And you know what that is? I just take my vanilla beans, I dry it out in the oven at like 250 degrees, and then I pulse it with salt. You should not be buying that. You should be taking your vanilla bean from when you made it with that that creme brulee or that custard, right? And then using that. They're expensive. You're going to use it from the rooter to the tutor. So now I'm going to show you an apple. So I'm going to cut the apple in half. I'm going to take a core, a melon baller, and just take out the inside like that. It's very simple. All right. And then I'm going to just take out anything that I don't want to eat. Just going to take all those out, take out the top of that. See? Very simple. And I'm going to do the same thing. I have my chopsticks to keep me from going through. This keeps all the vegetables together, just like that. And you can do, I have a Granny Smith apple and a Gala apple because I want something that's kind of sweet and also something that's tart. So put that there. And I'm going to get my Granny Smith. So I think by now you sort of have the hang of it, right? And this is such a simple thing to do for the holidays. Yes, and we have another question. What's up?
Janice is wondering if you ever made fries out of the delicata squash before.
Oh, so Janice wants to know about fries with the delicata squash. No, but I think I like it. But I think they have a lot of water, but you can do fries with anything else. So, have you done it, Janice? Has Janice done fries? Can we know? Can she come back and ask us?
We'll report back.
She'll report back.
And what about Thanksgiving, Carla? What is your favorite side during Thanksgiving?
So my favorite sides, I have to have an S on that because I can't do one side. Because from the South, it's all about the sides. So for me, it is about cornbread dressing, which is the central side. That is the one that is in the center of the plate. Then I have to have sweet potatoes. Then I have to have collard greens. So I have some kind of bitter greens. You see how we cut that and we have that beautiful there? And I'm going to come here with that. And then now I'm going to start doing these. I'm going to go to the next step with this. My other sides that I love, because on my plate I want sweet, bitter, I want tangy, cheesy, have to have macaroni and cheese. So I love macaroni and cheese, a baked macaroni and cheese. None of this stovetop stuff. Not doing it. So look, we have all this. I'm going to move this. Now, I told you what I had in terms of my spices. I've got some Maldon salt. I've got some brown sugar. I have some maple syrup and some olive oil. I have butter and black pepper. Over here, I've got my thyme, and I have some sage leaves, which smell so wonderful. I feel like sage feels like the holidays for me. So we can do a couple different things. You can just put, this is where you let your freak flag fly and you just play. So I'm going to take some of these sage leaves. I'm going to go ahead and pick some of my sage leaves, some of the smaller ones, and I'm going to put them in between the squash. Okay. So all I do is I take a little paring knife and I push my sage into that little slot. If I can get my big hands in there. See? Okay. You make a little bit of a opening and then you push it in there. And maybe at the back of the knife will be easier. So open, push it in there. Okay? So this you can do for each one. And then if you think it's going to be too much sage, then go every other one. Okay? So we're going to push that all in. I know this is riveting television. And here's a question. Yes. What do we have?
Kelly is wondering, what's your favorite Thanksgiving dessert?
My favorite Thanksgiving dessert, Kelly, I like sweet potato pie. Okay, first of all, you're talking to a Southerner. You're talking to a black woman from the South. There's no pumpkin. I think there is, just like the Mason-Dixon line, there's a pumpkin and sweet potato line. So I'm in the pumpkin family. Now, what we're going to do here now, you would do all of these, and I don't have to show you all of that. So we take these sage and we put them there. Now what we're going to do, we're going to have a little bit of fun. I'm going to put on this particular one, I think I'll put some olive oil. Brush that on there like that. And then I'm going to take some Maldon salt, put that on there like that. I think I will do a little bit of cayenne, just a little bit on here. Do that. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of this maple syrup, and again, I'm going to sort of pinch these so that I can get in there. Right? Now what I'm going to do, I just want to just sort of get in there. You look how these are bending so beautifully, and that's what makes the Hasselback. Just get in there. Brush these. Now I'm going to make a mix of some of my spices. So I have over here, I have that maple syrup, but I think I like a little bit of cayenne. I'm going to do a little bit of sumac, which has a little bit of almost like a citrusy, tangy flavor to it. I'm going to mix that up. That's going to be really spicy. Oops. And then I'm also going to take a little bit of my vanilla salt. You can play in whatever you want to do. So, do we have a question?
Yes, Maria wants to know your favorite part of filming Ultimate Thanksgiving Challenge.
All right, my favorite part about filming the Ultimate Thanksgiving Challenge is Thanksgiving itself. It brought the holiday early for me, and I love the sides. The contestants were fantastic, and the turkey dinners and the sides and just sort of a precursor to Thanksgiving itself. It was fantastic. So I loved it. All right, so we have this. I think here what I'm going to do also here, I'm going to have some thyme, have some sage, and then don't be afraid when you're doing this to have the sage just sort of sticking in, and I'm going to put some butter in here. So you just put some sage in here that you can take out also. You don't have to do the whole leaves like that. You just have the essence. You can also put your herbs under here so when it steams. So now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put some olive oil. And then on this one with the maple syrup, why not add even a little bit of butter, right? You can do butter, olive oil. You can just mix it up. Different kinds of fat. Do all of this. We're going to come back with some salt. And don't be afraid to also add a little brown sugar if you wanted to go that route. And then just open this up. Where's my little brush? Open this up. Make sure that you get all those little crevices. Get it all in there. Now, you're going to do that for each one. Now let's work on our apples.
I'm wondering if you can use dried herbs for this instead.
So you can absolutely use dry herbs. What I would suggest, if you're doing the dry herbs, take your dry herbs and then put them into your salt or even your brown sugar and rub your dry herbs into the salt or the sugar. That way you are infusing some of that flavor into your dish. Now, I love apples. I love them sweet. I think the tart Granny Smith apple will be amazing. And for these, I am going to do some olive oil because these are already so tart. And then I'm going to take some thyme, which I love. I love thyme. I'm just going to sort of stick the thyme in there. And this could be just so rustic. You don't really need a recipe. It's like, what flavors do you think you're going to like? Sticking that in there. And this is going to just make your house smell so good. And here I think I'm going to take a little bit of salt, a little bit of brown sugar, thyme, brown sugar here. And then over here with this one, I'm going to take some, let me move this over here. I'm going to take some maple syrup. I'm going to do some maple syrup over here as well. Over here, I'm going to do some brown sugar, and I'm going to put some stuff on that. Make sure you season. A little bit of vanilla salt. And then you just rub and play. Any other questions coming up?
Yes. What else could you use the vanilla salt for?
Ah, cookies. You can absolutely use it for cookies. You can use it for, I used to do a cookie with shortbread with pecans and vanilla salt, is delicious. So that would be wonderful. You can also use it for scallops. You know, when you're mixing scallops with a little bit of vanilla salt, it has a little bit of roundness and richness, and that would be delicious. Okay, I got to bring my butter back because I had this brown sugar over here. Bringing the butter back here. I'm going to do a couple with butter. Okay. Salt. Would we like some thyme? Yes, we would. All right. Get you some thyme in here. This little paring knife really helps as you are making that little opening. Question from Kim.
I was wondering, would you ever fry your turkey? How do you like to make your turkey for Thanksgiving?
So I have not fried my turkey. However, what I tend to do for Thanksgiving, I break my turkey down like a chicken so that I will have the pieces in parts. So I have 8 parts. I have the breast, I have the wings, I have the legs, I have the thighs, and then this way I can do some of the chicken, I can do half of the turkey one way, and I have been known to grill it. I've been known to take a gremolata of parsley and herbs and thyme and lemon zest and marinate and put this all over my turkey, and then part of that will be roasted and the other part I've done almost like a hot chicken. So I've had the spicy oil on my chicken and everything. I keep saying chicken on my turkey, and which is delicious. So you don't have to decide which you're going to do. Well, how do I do the one turkey? You have different ways to do it, and you have the bones available for the gravy, right, and the stock. All right. So I have this mixture here. I'm going to put this on this apple. This was my sumac, a little bit of cayenne, so I'm making these nice and savory. All right, and then I'm going to finish these the same way. And then this goes into the oven at 425 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes until they get nice and soft, and they're going to be so beautiful. Wait until you see. All right, I'm going to wipe my hands, working cleanly here. Now, when you are out there cooking and you're doing your, you have the cooks and then you have the hands. Those hands are the people who are actually helping you clean up. And the cooks feel like they're the most important because they're cooking. Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm standing up for the hand because the hand does a lot of work. And if you dirty every pot, pan, dish, and string in the house, no dish is that good. No dish is that good. All right, now I'm going to reach back and I'm going to show you all the finished product. Look at this. Look how gorgeous that is. You're taking all of those herbs. You have the thyme here, you have the Maldon salt that is finished, and go ahead and serve the herbs because, you know, it actually makes a beautiful presentation and really nice and rustic. I have my plate right here. We have a question.
Fans are wondering if you serve this as a side for dinner or could you have it as a dessert even?
You could absolutely have this as a dessert, and let me tell you, I feel like when you are doing herbs with fruit, it makes it more interesting and it's so delicious. So even though I put these herbs with the apple, you can add a little more brown sugar. You can add an ice cream with this right in the center. So if you're serving this up and you have a delicious, beautiful ice cream, and right now, look how beautiful this is. You can put that ice cream right in the center. Look at that gorgeousness. It gets nice and soft. I'm going to get some of the delicata squash and I'm going to go in, but I would like that. Even the delicata squash could be delicious as a dessert. Okay, we're getting in there and it's nice and sticky and delicious. All right, I'm going to go in for one of each little piece because that's how I live. I live on the wild side. See, this is where I toot my own horn. Toot toot, honk honk, auga. It's so delicious and so simple. I'm telling you, there's no reason why anyone shouldn't be doing this. Do your carrots, do sweet potatoes, do whatever vegetable. You can do other squashes. An acorn squash would be delicious. So, easy peasy. Oh my gosh. Last question.
Where can fans catch you on Food Network?
Fans, you can catch with the ultimate Thanksgiving challenge. I will be there, and you be there too, or be square. Bye.